Welcome back to another episode. Today's episode is quite exciting because it's going to take a different shape. I'm going to have a different conversation because I have a guest in studio and we want to share very powerful tips that I really sat down, guys, and I thought it was quite important to have this video. So in this conversation, we want to talk about the things we wish we knew before starting our first jobs. And we're having this conversation because there are so many people outside there who say that the workplace is not what they expected. You know, the way they say that things on the ground are different. You know, vitu kwa ground is different. You know, you've been in school, graduated, you're looking for your first job, then boom, when you get to the workplace, you're completely thrown off balance because what you expected or what you thought the workplace to be is really not what it is. Yeah, so I have a guest in studio with whom we are going to have this interesting conversation. Just as we share, I'll share my experience, he'll share his, just to enlighten somebody outside there on what to expect as you look for your first job, or even if you're in the workplace today. Just a few things that we've also learned over time, and this is really applicable. A few things we've learned over time, which I believe which will be very insightful, even just to help you as a professional to know how to navigate the workplace currently. So help me to welcome my guest in studio. Hi James, how are you?
Thank you very much for having me. I'm good.
Thank you too for coming again. And guys, James is I actually call him a friend of this channel because he's among the first people. He was actually the first person that I interviewed when I was just shifting my content, or rather when I was just incorporating interviews in my content. So is somebody who's actually believed in my content, is believed in me, and you know, even came to this channel before we hit 1,000 subscribers. And in that connection, if you've not subscribed, please ensure you do so that we are more encouraged to keep on giving you this channel. So James, I'm quite happy to have you back, and I'm really grateful, really humbled, and thank you so much for always creating time for me in your very busy schedule. So for those who are seeing you for the first time, please just introduce yourself, tell them who James is and what you do.
Hello viewers, my name is James Wachare. I am Managing Director of Executive Jobs Hub that focuses on career branding, career coaching, interview coaching, CV writing, LinkedIn optimization, and cover letter writing, among many other HR roles that we do. We are HR consultant. So in summary, my introduction is I teach what people were not taught in school.
That's really interesting. That's a good one and a good way to start. It teaches what you are not taught in school. And I think even this conversation is going to share some of the things that is learned in the workplace that you were really not told in school. You know? Yeah. So James, I just want to start with you. Yeah, I know you've worked for quite a long time. You've been in the corporate space, different organizations, and even now that you're running your own company. Yeah, I just want to start with you as the first point. Just tell us, what is it, the one thing, or what is among the many things you're going to share that you've learned about the corporate world that you wish you knew before you're starting your first job?
There are so many things I've learned, but the first thing that I learned, far much later, which I learned earlier, there is no silly question in the workplace. There's no shame in asking a question. There is no shame in saying you don't know. If you don't know, you don't know. So many people feel like if you ask a question, you are becoming a nuisance, or you don't look smart, or you look like
incompetent.
You look like you're not well schooled, but that is not the case. If everyone does not know everything. I mean, there's something that you know I don't know. There is something I need to consult you, and we have seen many companies that have lost a lot of money, a lot of deals, because a newbie in the company went to do his own things or her own things and did a lot of branders that made the company lose a client, lose money, even lose a multi-million deal. So it's always good to ask a question. Then in asking this question, is good you clarify on. Sometimes you're given a task to do, but you're not given instruction on what to do. So it's good to ask questions so that you put the priorities, which one is supposed to be delivered earlier, what at what time to deliver, and when, so that you can be able to work according to your schedule and the schedule of the company, so that you don't find yourself with a lot of workload. So these questions are very important because you're able to prioritize, you're able to ask what you don't know, and there is no need of keeping quiet with something that you don't know. You go and try and learn yourself for 3 to 5 days, and you can walk to a person and teach you in 20 minutes. You waste your time, you waste company's time, the company may lose a lot of resources because you didn't ask probably a very simple question and somebody knows something what to do in that organization. So asking question is very important in the workplace, especially when you are new. Ask questions. There is no silly question in the workplace.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That's quite true. There is no silly question in the workplace.
Yes.
All right. So thank you so much, James. And my first point, one thing I really wish I knew before starting my first job is that you are really going to have to do more than what is in your job description. You know, most of the time, or rather sometimes we go to work and I hear people say, I'm just doing what I'm being paid for. You know, that is not within what is in my job description. But honestly, the truth is you're going to do way much beyond what is in your job description. And let me tell you guys, one thing I've also realized is that is what is going to set you apart. That going an extra mile is what is going to set you apart in terms of even getting to do things that are not within your department. Like maybe for instance, I'm in HR, doing things maybe in finance, doing things in marketing. At the end of it all, imagine it is for my own benefit because it expands my skill set. It gives me exposure to different things and things that are beyond my career that I can even use outside. Like I know a friend of mine who was in a company and she was in HR like me, but she used to do a lot of things in marketing, events. And guess what? Imagine now she's an events person transitioning from HR. Story for another day, but that's really how it works. So my point is, be ready that you're going to do way more beyond what is in your job description.
Yes. And then on top of that is what I encourage to add on that. If you are new in the organization, ask the HR to rotate you within the departments. If you are in finance, rotate in marketing, rotate in finance, in customer service, in procurement. Through that, you're able to identify which are your which are your strengths, and from there you are going to determine whether you are going to pursue the career you studied in school or you are going to pursue where your strengths are. Yeah. So my next point is when I started my employment, I started with the small contracts here and there. I remember immediately after graduation, after my internship, I got an IABC clerk job. Then I got a research assistant for 10 days. All those, I was thinking I was just pushing time so that I can get a permanent job. I didn't know all these experiences put together, they are very important. So the point I'm driving home here is never feel there is experience that is wasted. There is no experience that is wasted. It doesn't matter how small it is. Through these experiences, you are going to experience a different kind of work environment. You are going to be trained on different kind of skills. You are going to work for different organizations and different systems. That way, you expand your knowledge on the skills. You expand your knowledge on the systems. You are able to know how to work in a team in a different with different organizations. So by the time you are working into several, like 3, 4, and you get probably your permanent job, you already know how to work in a team, you already have your skill set, you already know how to work in a team, and you are far much better than someone who is completely fresh. Far much better.
Oh yeah, thank you so much, James. And I think that's quite an important topic. No experience is wasted.
Yes.
And even if you're having a job in a place, or rather in a space where is not your background, something you didn't go to school to do, just know that no experience is wasted. So my next point will be one of the things I wish I knew earlier is that your people skills will really matter. You know, you need people. In the workplace, you need people. The person who will watch for you if there's a promotion is a person. The person who you'll be reporting to, you know, the people that you're interacting with. So one thing I've really realized that one thing that will set you apart is your people skills. People will just automatically click, or rather people will just automatically want to work with you if your people skills are outstanding.
Or to add on that, people who are able to relate well with everyone in the organization, from the receptionist to the intern to the associate, mid-level management, they rise up very fast because they are able to manage people. And even when there is a conflict, a crisis communication, they are the people who are called upon to communicate that kind of crisis communication. They're able to rise up very fast. Thank you very much for that point.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, what I wish I knew, in the workplace, there is opportunities that come. So what I advise job seekers to do, especially the young graduates who are just joining, the fresh graduates, say yes to every opportunity. And when I say yes to every opportunity, I mean, if there is a project that is being implemented, can you try and find out how you can get involved with that project? If there is a new system in the company, can you try and find out how you can get to learn how that systems work? Be among the first person who is going to know how that systems work. If there is a training that is being offered to people in organization, grab that opportunity, learn with it. So this, when you say to these kind of opportunities, they are not easily available out here. You get like a training, you can pay a lot of money here out, but the company is free. So grab these opportunities, learn with them. That's how you're going to expand your skills. That way, even probably if you learn a new system and the company requires somebody to implement the system and to train the others, that's how you rise up. That's how you get promoted. That's how your name gets to the director that you are good at this. And I always encourage people, make sure you are known for something in the company. That's how you are retained when others are getting fired. When the others are getting raid because the economy is hard, that's how you get retained. Yeah.
Because you're actually standing out.
Yes.
Very powerful, very powerful. Thank
Yes.
you so much. And I think the next thing that I really, really wish I knew, and especially for young people who are just setting out in employment, is that nobody really cares. You know, sometimes we pressure ourselves so much, especially in terms of how we dress to work. I'm not saying that you don't need to dress well, but in terms of just you know, that people wouldn't repeat clothes maybe even in a month thinking that somebody's looking at me. Hey, come on, nobody's actually looking at you. People are very busy. People are very busy working on targets, you know, and nobody really cares. And one brutal thing I've also learned just in that point is that when you're really a hard worker, or when you're really producing good results, until you speak about it and make everyone know about what you're doing, nobody will even sometimes care to come and really just recognize you, you know. So you have to actually, in terms of how your performance is, you have to speak up. You have to vouch for yourself.
Yes.
You know, you have to show people. If you're achieving good results, let the decision makers know that I'm actually doing this. So whether you're working, killing yourself, leaving work, I don't know at what time, you know, nobody really cares. Nobody really cares. So what I've learned is it is you to get up, speak up. It is you when it comes to even staying late in the office, coming so early. It's all about, it's upon you to actually take care of yourself in the spaces that you find yourself in. So guys, if you think somebody cared about the cloth you wore, oh, yesterday she came in, I don't know what, you know, somebody cared about the shoe that you wear. Nobody really cares.
Yeah.
So if you decide to do something, let it be something that is going to make you happy. If you decide to stay late in the office, honestly, really nobody cares about it. Nobody cares about it. So unless it is for your own good, I really don't think it's necessary.
Thank you very much. And then, as long as you are smart, you are well dressed, according to the company policy, what it talks about the dress code, you are good to go. You don't have to impress people by buying expensive clothes that will render you bankrupt and you have started your job. Just be comfortable in the spirited dress code in the HR manual. Now, the next point I have is that you need to set boundaries in the workplace. When you are newbie, you are new in the workplace, there are some people who would like to misuse you by overloading you with work. So there is a corporate language. You don't have to say like a no.
Yeah.
There is a corporate language that you can use. You can tell that person, I would really like to help you in this work, because I really even admire the way you do your things. But for now, I have a lot of work to do. I have very tight deadlines. If you can wait next week, then probably I can help you then. You don't have to say a direct no. There is a corporate message that you can use that can make that person feel this person is a professional. He knows what he's doing, because even if it was me with so much work, I would still communicate the same. So it's about setting priorities. Which one to be delivered first? Which work were you given first? So it's focusing on one item at a time. Because now you start focusing, or you started this work, you have been given this, you have started this, you end up not delivering any, and you become unproductive. So set boundaries on the work that you need to do. But if need be that you need to help and you have some time, always help. Yeah.
Very, very true. Set boundaries, or else you may end up being misused.
Yeah.
And especially if you, like you said, James, for the newbies, you just when you want to, it is as much as it's important to get involved in so many things that will give you a new experience. Don't do somebody's work that are being paid for.
Yeah.
That is it.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So my next lesson that I really wish I knew earlier is to learn to separate work and personal issues.
Important.
Yeah, I remember when I just started out, I used to cry a lot. I'm even wondering, anyway. Nashanga, what was I crying? Because I did not separate work with personal things. Like for instance, one thing that I find people struggling with is accepting feedback. When you just go to have a conversation with your manager, you're given feedback, you come back in your small corner, you begin to cry. Why are you crying? Yeah, so learn to separate work and personal issues. May I always say, as long as somebody has not beaten you, they've not insulted you, they've not insulted your family, like aja kuingilia in terms of your personal life or something. If somebody is correcting you, or rather somebody is just giving you feedback on a job that you've not done well, I mean, there's no problem with that from where I sit. Yeah. But most new entrants, people are just getting into workplace, and even not even new entrants, even professionals who have stayed in the workplace for some time, people really personalize everything. You just give somebody feedback or just correct someone, and they're already maybe in groups talking about you, they're already maybe crying, feeling I'm not wanted. Get to the level that I always say professional maturity is knowing that this is work and this is personal. So learn to differentiate work and personal life, personal issues.
To add on that is to let the newbies, the one that you get to the workplace, that gossip is still there in the workplace. Yeah. You may think that gossip is only outside here in the school, but even in the workplace there is gossip. So the way you handle feedback and the way you communicate to your manager in regard to the feedback you have been given matters a lot. So it's always good to be professional. If you have been corrected, you just handle it professionally. Yeah. If it's not a personal attack on your character or on your personal life, it's about the delivery. Just work on it, and that's how you get to learn. To add on to that, what I wish I knew, your colleagues at work are not your friends.
Oh yeah, say that again.
Those are not your friends. Yes. You are there to work for money and go home. You can get into a workplace where people look a bit very friendly. They are kind. When you are together, they are different kind of person. They are kind. They look loving. You are working together to go and take lunch. You are taking tea break together. But when now they are on a different setup, and probably you shared very personal information with them, they will share that information in a way that is going to embarrass you. At thinking that is your friend. Yeah. So always know the boundaries, which information to share. Do not overshare. Just know that is your colleague. That is not your friend. However, do not close your heart to genuine people, although that is like a 10% of the 90%. 90% on your friend. But do not close your heart to a genuine person who would like probably you are connecting, probably you are in your mission and your passions. Probably you may help each other after you have left that workplace. Do not close your heart to that, but always be careful. Always be careful not to overshare. Get to know who can be a real friend, but that will take you time. So do not be quick to share things, but do not close your heart. But be very careful. That is like a 10% of the 90%.
Thank you so much for that, James. And
Yeah.
one thing, another thing that is quite important that I've also learned is that don't miss out on opportunities, or rather on times that make you happy at work.
Yeah.
And one of them for me is especially missing out important times like lunch times. You know, those are the times that you get to interact with your colleagues, learn from each other. Don't miss. For instance, I think I've experienced many people trying to work during lunch, breakout times, break times, not having tea, or even having tea at their desks. Sometimes I do that, but I've learned it's a lesson, you know, that I'm also sharing because I'm also actually learning from it. Yeah, don't miss out on opportunities that makes you happy, that makes you relaxed. For instance, if you're working for a good company that maybe on Fridays you guys are having social Fridays, like maybe you just dress down, go and maybe have a drink with your colleagues and all that. Please don't miss out, because one thing I've realized is that most of important decisions are actually made during these times.
Yes.
Yeah, these are the times that you get to interact with people, and you know we are social beings. We want to interact with people that are like us. This is the time that you can get hold of a manager that you so wanted to join their department, and just have a relaxed conversation out of work. You know, a relaxed conversation out of the pressured time for work, 8 to 5. So if you're the person who is missing out on these important times, please don't miss out on these social times that could really change your life, or could change a decision at your workplace.
I agree. That's when most professionals, they are gathered down, and now you can now make a joke here and there. And in the process of making a joke, you can probably propose something that you always wanted to do. You find yourself that you that the manager is a bit open to you, and then from there you can follow it up. Yeah.
Perfect.
Another thing that is quite a menace is the sexual exploitation. I kid you not. If you are a new bae, most people want to go to bed with you. I kid you not. You know, when you are so fresh and you look so innocent, there's so many people who want to devour you. So it's very good to make sure that you are assertive, you have principles, so that you can guard your dignity and your reputation. Because your reputation can really go down when you start now getting engaged with your colleague, the one you have just joined with, the supervisor, the manager, probably even the director wants you. So it's very important to be very assertive and to know which are the sexual. Some don't look like sexual advances. So probably you may decide today I'm going to dress to kill on a certain morning. Then someone somewhere senior passes you by, it says, hey, you look so bright, you look so sexy. And then if you don't appreciate that, it becomes a problem. And then there's a very thin balance between somebody kind of appreciating how good you look and a sexual advance. So it's very good. It's a very thin line. So it's very important that if it's something that is going to continue, then you need to start setting boundaries, because it will lead to something else. It will lead to something else. You need to read the body language. So and then sometimes, okay, it happens to both men and women, but sometimes to ladies is far much more, because if it is a beautiful girl and is not appreciate the compliment, is regarded as rude, unajifanya, unaringa, sijui. So it's a very thin line. You need how to read the body language and manage expectations of everyone in the office, because you are still going to work with them. You are still going to need them. Probably even they are going to improve your performance contract or something like that. So it's always good to manage them. And if they make advances, keep boundaries and let them keep hoping. Let them keep hoping. but you are doing your work well, but you are keeping boundaries. Yeah,
Okay.
there is a very notorious case I had whereby a guy joined when he was still young. He joined as an intern, then he was absorbed. Then he was good at his work. Then he became a supervisor, then a manager. Then already joined. He was not married then. Already joined as a graduate. Then they got engaged with the guy. That was not the problem because the guy was single and the lady was single, so they married. After marrying, after years of marriage, a very hot, beautiful girl intern joined, and then she was absorbed. So the guy now fell in love. I don't know whether to fell in love with this beautiful girl. That is not the problem. The problem is that she made her pregnant. That's not even the problem. The problem is that is a drama queen.
Yeah.
That's not the problem. The problem is that she was posting all over. The father to my kid, and the wife is the same company, and this girl side chick is the same company. You can imagine you're having a board meeting. Your strict wife is there, and your side chick is there. You can imagine how that meeting is going to be.
Yeah.
So it was chaotic. Finally, the one had to leave. The wife left the company, and also left the marriage. So it was double tragedy. So it's always good to avoid this work relationship. I always advise against love affair in the workplace. I always.
Yeah.
Unless it is an emergency, don't.
And maybe just while we're still at that, guys, I did a video on why I feel you should not date at the workplace. I know this is not a dating channel, but you know, these are the things that end up really destroying your career. Like the example that James has given is quite unfortunate.
Yeah.
So I'll also leave the link to that video so you can just get to watch it and get to hear why I shared from where I sit. I highly disrecommend it. Is that in English like that? I really don't recommend dating at the workplace.
Yeah.
All right. So one thing I also wish I knew is never to under-negotiate or devalue yourself. You know, I think we look for jobs at the point of desperation, and it's quite unfortunate that that's the space we find ourselves in. You know, with high levels of unemployment, quite competitive workplace. I mean, the job market. But guys, I always say there's always something somebody can do. And if you genuinely feel that you're undervaluing yourself in terms of under-negotiating, you know, there's no need, James, of going to work that cannot even meet your immediate basic needs.
Yes.
You can't have a decent housing. You can't take your children if you have a family to school.
Yes.
You can't even buy food.
Yes.
Genuinely, from where I sit, there's no need of having work that can't meet your immediate, you know, those ones that are called basic needs.
Yes.
Shelter, food, and what are next? Clothing and all that.
Yes.
If you can't have even decent of the basic needs, then that means actually the job is doing a disservice to you. Can you think of how else can you utilize your skills apart from just maybe being in that space to make money, if of course to sustain yourself as you look for something better? Oh yeah, so what I learned and what I hold on to so dearly is never undervalue yourself.
Yes. To add on that point, I have seen so many fresh graduates who join the workplace, and they propose the minimum because they have been tamaking for a very long time. Then you end up, even the amount of money you are getting is just for fare. Even having lunch is a problem. You're having 1 meal in a day. So what I tell people to do, those who are seeking for jobs, doesn't matter whether a fresh graduate or whether you are an experienced professional, always search the market rate of that job. Then ask around to people who have worked in that company. On average, how is this position paid? So that by the time you are getting to an interview, you have put in consideration your skills, the market rate, and the organization budget. From there, you have a bargaining power. You will not undersell yourself, because I have seen a case where somebody was so good, but he went and quoted a very low salary, only to realize later that somebody with the same department doing the same work is earning 50,000 more. So it's always good to look at the market rate, research about how much the organization pays in the for that job, and then put in consideration the expertise that you're going to give that organization. That will give you an idea how much you can quote for that position.
Perfect. That's quite important,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah.
Now, the other thing is that you are never stuck in one position. You are never stuck in your place. It's a choice.
Yeah.
Explain to me how you are stuck in one position. There is no development in terms of your career. There is no development there is no increase in terms of your salary. There is no financial development, even social development. There is social development, and you are in one position for 5-10 years. It is a choice you have made. If there is no development, you need to move. You need to have a job search plan and move. You are not a tree. Move. It is not your business. Move. It's not your business you are building. Move. So when I hear that the person has been from year 1 to year 10th is complaining, and if even if you require some skills to move, these days there are so many skills that are being offered for free online. YouTube is there for you to learn skills. So there is no excuse for getting stuck in one position for 5-10 years. There is no excuse at all. I mean, there are people who get comfortable because they are earning a salary. At the end of the day, probably there is that fear of the unknown. What if I decide what happens? But there's always an option of searching for a job when you're still working there, and you can move. There's always an option of doing your own personal development when you are still there, so that you can move. So there is no excuse at all why you are stuck in one position for a long time. And I like the way Gen Z are doing. They are hopping from one job to another. They get bored here within a month, they're going to resign. And then that's how they are increasing their knowledge and their skill set. You get that this company, they learn a certain software. They were trained on this. They go to another company, they're expanding their knowledge, they're expanding their skills. That's how that's why they are becoming very tech savvy, and there are so many things.
And they're even expanding their paycheck.
Yeah, they're even expanding their paycheck. So there is no excuse of staying in one job for a very long time. You need to move. In any case, that's how you get old. At one point you are 20 years, at another point you are 30 years, tomorrow you are 40 years, you are broke, you have no finances, you have children to educate, and you could have done that when you are probably in your early 30s. You could have discovered that and moved from that kind of stagnation. So there is no excuse at all for being stuck in one position for a long time that is of no benefit to you. In fact, this is why I advise people, the best way to increase your salary is getting a new job.
Guys, you got that? No more to add. All right.
Yeah.
So my next point, one thing I wish I knew earlier, is that the harsh truth is that the corporate world is very brutal. And guys, if you're just coming in, or if you've been in the corporate space for some time, nobody's actually going to baby you. Every space you find yourself in, you're going to be expected to deliver what is expected of you. And it's as simple as that. So please don't come with a very soft skin, don't come with a baby mindset. You want to be babied. Nobody is going to baby you. The corporate world is very brutal, and that is just how it is.
Yeah. You either deliver or you go home.
Thank you.
You are paid money to deliver. You're not paid money to just stay in the office, drink coffee in the office, gossip with the office. You are paid money to do the work. Also, the company has a mission and a vision. They have business to do. So you are paid to deliver. If you can't deliver, go home. Yeah. Now, the other point that is very important is documentation. If it is not documented, it never happened. There are people in the workplace that would have to have a meeting, a verbal meeting, where important decisions are made. So there's nothing wrong with a verbal meeting or a verbal conversation on what needs to be done. But you need to follow up that verbal conversation with an email. You can write an email saying, according to our conversation, we agreed on A, B, C, D. And we agreed this is the way forward. Can you confirm that is what we agreed? That is very important, because in case of any eventuality, somebody misadvised you, or somebody was to lay the blame on you and it was a team, you have evidence that is you had a discussion, you had discussed the way forward, and you worked together. So that's going to save you a lot of issues in the workplace, a lot of brain game, because there is documentation. If it was never documented, it's never happened. So make sure it is always documented, just in case of any eventuality. It will save you a lot of headache.
True.
Yeah.
Document. If it was never on email or if it was never documented, it never happened. Yeah. So document. Thank you for that. I think my next one, which may be my last one, so I'll hand it over to James, is that you're going to make mistakes. And I remember when I first started my first job, I was so scared of mistakes. You know, to the level that you do a mistake and you try to hide. That was me. So I've learned over time that there's nobody who's too perfect. We all make mistakes. Even now, with all the experience, I still make mistakes. But the only difference is that nowadays, I know that whether I make it or not, I'm a human being, you know. So you're going to make mistakes, and there's completely nothing wrong about making mistakes. The only thing is that you need to learn from every mistake. So stop hiding. You know, stop getting scared. Like I hear of the common story of somebody who wanted to send an email to one person and they copied, I don't know, over 1,000 plans, you know, and it was an email that you really did, the company didn't want it to get to those confidential emails. Those are mistakes. So as you get to the workplace, it's not a holy ground where there are no mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. And if you think that you're perfect, then you're going to struggle, because you're going to live a life for a very long time. You're going to hide things for a very long time. Yeah. So you're gonna make mistakes, and please don't shy from making mistakes. And I think that links to what James had said about being able to ask questions. But if you hide mistakes, you're not gonna ask. So as you get to the workplace, just know that you're going to make mistakes. You're human, and mistakes is our nature.
Everyone makes mistakes. As long as they are not so silly mistakes that could be avoided, there are those mistakes that you are still learning in the workplace. Don't fear to make mistakes, because if you fear to make mistakes, you're not going to venture into new things that you don't know. That's how you get to learn. And also mistakes is a running process. Is one way of running. It's a running process. So mistakes. The good thing is not to beat yourself so much. Learn from mistakes. Make sure you not repeat that mistake, and have lessons that you are going to take forward to the next to the next work that you are doing, or the next project, or the next piece of work that you are going to do. Just take that lesson with you so that you don't repeat the same mistake. Perfect. Yeah. My last point now is take leave days, take off days. There is a reason the off days were put there. There is a reason why leave days were. If your company have a holiday, take that holiday. I have seen some people forfeit off days because there is a lot of workload. They are just thinking about workload. So now that leads to burnout. That leads to being too tired, and you become unproductive. When you become unproductive, you slow down. A piece of work that you're supposed to do in 2 days, you end up doing probably in a week's time. So always take those off days and leave days. In any case, sometimes if you don't take those off days and leave days, and you are overloaded, you're overworked, those off days and leave days may turn out to be doctors visiting days. So avoid having doctors visiting days by taking off days and leave days. So very important. I mean, there are people who think that if they don't, work is not going to happen. Right. And I can tell you for free, if you are fired tomorrow, that work is going to be done by someone else.
Even if you die tomorrow, unfortunately.
Yeah, that one is going to be done by someone else. Take that leave and take that off. Go for that holiday. There are companies that don't go for holidays. Go for that holiday. The way those off days and leave days are distributed in the year, just make sure you... it's not, somebody just did not just wake up and distribute those off days direct. It was meant to take care of your mental health and your body general health, so that you can be productive in the workplace. So take off days, take leave days, go and relax. That's how you're going to be productive.
Perfect. Self-care at its best. Guys, you just got it. That
Yep.
work will always continue. So prioritize yourself. You know, those are the harsh realities that nobody ever tell us.
Yeah.
But that's actually the truth. And I think for me, my mission is to make you a better person. My mission is to help you prepare yourself to make your career more rewarding and more fulfilling. And that's why we're bold enough to have these conversations. And some of the things that we've shared, I know you guys are wondering, but that's actually the truth. So thank you so much, James. I'm always quite honored to have you. Thank you so much for coming to share with our audience. And guys, if you're looking for a HR consultant to work with, if you're outside there, you're looking for an expert, you just got one. So thank you so much. Remember to also just share your experiences. What are some of the things that you wish? Because this conversation, we could have it for a whole day. You know, there's so many things that we've learned, but because of time and because we can't record, we can't have this conversation the whole day, we've just picked some of the things that we really thought we could share with you guys quickly. So also feel free to just share what is it that you've learned that you'll wish to share with someone out there who's just starting out in their career. What is it that you didn't know about the workplace that you just want someone to know even as they start their first job? So yeah, that's what we had for you in this video. Thank you as always. Remember to subscribe, share this content to help us build this community where we're all about learning and making ourselves better. Thank you. See you in the next video.